See.
Oh yeah? I don't know. I mean, I did it for my Odyssey, so
Yeah.
um, yeah, I have no idea, but
We'll
I'm
find out.
hoping because
Yeah.
Odyssey is one of the few places that we can actually. The thing I don't like about Odyssey is it's not just like odyssey.com biohack the planet. It's like at biohack the planet. And if you type in like odyssey.com biohack the planet, it doesn't go to my channel. Kind of annoying.
Okay.
But what are you gonna do? All right, let's see if Odyssey is working. It's not working. Biohack the planet. No. Go to my channel.
Like customer service you can
Oh wait,
talk to.
I think it is. Here we go. Let's see. Live stream progress. These weird numbers is the problem. That's the thing.
Yay! Someone's
But
in
it's
the chat.
in the Odyssey chat.
No, I don't think so. YouTube.
People are. I don't know. Two people it says they're currently watching on Odyssey, but one of those might be me. All right.
Yeah, probably so.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Thank you for coming this morning, early afternoon, evening.
I think my YouTube channel might still have the same title as last time.
Really?
Yeah, I think
I think it changes automatically.
Yeah, I think it
If
changes
you pay
automatically.
for.
Okay, no, it did. Okay, you're right.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
As long as I change the title, I think it changes automatically.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah, it changes on mine automatically all the time.
Sometimes I forget to change it, and so it doesn't. But
Right.
yeah,
All right.
a pretty sweet location. Y'all are jealous. Dariia, are you in your lab?
What?
It's like a basement.
Yeah, I'm in my lab.
Ooh,
Meet room. I'm in my
Can we get a
lab.
tour?
Yeah, there's a small tour.
Fancy.
There's Marichka's doing cooking work there.
yeah.
We were. Yeah. So I'm live from the war, pretty much.
I still think you shouldn't have gone back to Nipro.
It's fun, especially when you hear. Like, I'm used to air sirens now. You get used to that.
Well,
You're just like,
great.
whatever.
If only you could get used to showing up to calls that you said you would show up to.
Oh.
So maybe one day. Glad you're used to air sirens, though. Good for you.
Yeah, you might hear them because honestly, surprisingly, today there was only one. Usually there's like 5.
Yeah. Hopefully there's no more bombs.
Yeah, that would be preferable.
Yeah. So talk about some anything new going on in the science world. Anything new?
Not that
No.
No, y'all are really boring.
I. Yeah. Well, I've been focusing on insulating my house, so that's where all
Oh
my
wow.
going.
Insulating
Yeah, it's like
or
100.
what?
It's like
Oh,
103 degrees every day here.
that sucks.
What's the temperature like in Ukraine right now?
I mean, it's like 90, 94,
Oh man,
something like that. Yeah,
sounds
so it's, like it gets hot.
refreshing.
And we got here when it was kind of cool, so it was like 25 Celsius.
Mhm.
So it's kind of nice, but it's still, the sun is just brutal. But it's gonna, yeah, the heat wave is coming. This is like the coolest time of the summer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're approaching peak heat here.
It's been like over 100 Fahrenheit, like 40 Celsius for 40 days in a row.
Yeah, and no immediate end in sight. We probably still got to get all the way through August.
Absolutely no.
It's super hot.
Yeah, I know. I think I saw that in UK it's also like 40 Celsius, and I was like, in UK?
Yeah,
God damn it.
yeah. They don't even have air conditioning.
Neither do I here. I have like a fan blowing behind me.
Yeah,
Can cancer cells be
it's still
weaponized?
weaponized.
Assaulted.
Yeah, I think you could make miniature guns that they can hold.
Well, what you do is you just make like a big old meatball, stick it in like a potato launcher, and you can weaponize cancer cells.
Just take like a tumor and shoot it at people.
Yeah, there are contagious cancers though. Like dogs get one. It's a STD. It's like a contagious tumor, but it's from some wolf like 10,000 years ago, and now it's spread as an STD. But like the cells are like ancient wolf cells that have adapted to be cancer, that have just
Fun.
been jumping from individual to individual for thousands of years. So there are a couple of contagious cancers, but it's like not nearly as good as anything else.
Yeah. I read that, a couple of gene therapies that they've been trying for cancers have been failing. I always find that kind of weird is like, doing gene therapies or things like that for cancers.
Yeah, because like what's your plan to get them all? Because you only need like one cell, presumably, to regenerate the population.
Yeah.
I like the immortal dick cells. You can just call them IDC cells.
That's basically what they are. And then Tasmanian devil facial tumor disease is the same kind of thing.
Yeah. Do you guys feel Thermo Fisher machines are too expensive? Why do they have to be that damn expensive? Can we reverse engineer for cheaper? Oh God. You don't need to make. I saw something in the biohacking group on Facebook the other day where somebody was like, "Look, another centrifuge you can DIY," and it's like you don't need to DIY any of this equipment. Like, we don't need to reverse engineer it. There's nothing to reverse engineer.
Yeah.
Like you can literally do PCR, which is like the most complicated piece of equipment, with like water baths.
Water, yeah.
It's like, come on, Is thermal equipment too expensive? I don't know. If people spend money on it, so like that's up to them. But like if you're shopping at Thermo Fisher,
Just
like
just don't get it.
Yeah, you can also find cheaper versions of just about everything, or used versions of just about everything out there. Just a little bit of searching, and if you're a little bit creative, you can, the simple stuff like incubators and stuff, you can build really easy.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Yeah, I think that it's funny because like I remember back in the early days of biohacking, I think the first thing that really got like media attention was the Dremel fuge.
Yeah, I had a Dremel
fuge, which was like, I don't know, pretty dumb and weird and crazy. And it's like, sure, that's fine. But like, also you can just like buy a motor and connect a battery to it and do the same thing. And you don't have to spend like, and the fucking Dremel, I mean, if you already have a Dremel, sure, but a fucking Dremel costs just as much as a fucking centrifuge. I guess you could use it for both, maybe. And also,
I used a Dremel fuge because I already had a Dremel.
The Dremel RPMs are based on, obviously, when it has no weight. Once you put weight on it, those things, obviously change. But it's like no idea how fast it's going, no idea what it's doing. You just sit there and it's kind of like an interesting. That's the one thing about biohackers is like I don't think there's any piece of equipment I've ever built for biohacking.
Oh, I built a lot of them.
I don't think there's anything. Yeah, but you're just David. Like, you're just like, I'm going to spend $1,000 on this thing, and then I'm going to totally cheap out on this other thing.
Hey, whatever you're comfortable with, you know. Like,
Yeah.
if I know I can build it for $20, I'm gonna build it for $20. But if I'm a little intimidated by it, I'm not gonna.
I'll say like, well, you could have just bought it for like $30, but you're just like, I'm gonna build it.
It's fun, okay? Don't judge. I like that too.
Plus, I
I'm not
usually
sure.
have kind of a stuff hoarder, so like I have all kinds of like junk from like taking apart things, so I can build stuff out of stuff I already have a lot.
I'm not saying that you can or you can't or whatever, but I'm saying like, there's nothing you in science generally that you actually need to build. And there's all these like biohackers or DIY people who are like, ooh, look, I built this or I built that or I do this or I do that. And it's like, save yourself the time and the effort and having to fix that thing you built every time you use it. And just like spend the $30 on a chicken egg incubator, because it's going to work a lot better than like something else you can whip up. Or spend like the, you know, $50 on a centrifuge instead of like making one yourself, because it's going to be a lot better, last a lot longer, be more robust, and all these other things. And it's just like, it's not expensive. I mean, like, I get it. Some people probably listening are from countries where they don't have money or anything, but like, you know, generally, these things aren't expensive. Like, sure, if you buy it brand new, from a major company, it seems expensive, but like, you never really have to do that. Yeah.
But yeah,
So, like, just buy
it's
it. Go online. Go on eBay. Go on some site. Go on Amazon. Like, shit. You're
yeah,
not gonna find you're gonna be able to find stuff that's inexpensive.
yeah. If you're going to Thermo, you're just going there specifically to get bad prices.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I
But
will
yeah.
say I've replaced almost all of my home built stuff except for like my bioreactor and my big incubator with purchased things over time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because it's just for me. I mean, it's just like yeah. I don't know. Like, if you tried to outfit, at the Odin website, I think we sell like a whole molecular biology lab for like, damn, like $1,500 or something.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, damn, that's inexpensive. And like, if you actually went out and found the stuff yourself, you might be able to get it for way cheaper. Obviously, it take a lot more time and effort, and like, you might have to deal with broken and busted shit. But like,
yeah,
you're talking like, if you make a whole lab with everything, you're probably going to end up spending like at most $1,000. And I get it, it seems like a lot of money, but if you think like, ooh, you pay like $100 a month for the next 10 months, like,
yeah.
like science, every hobby you get into is going to cost you something. But yeah.
I wish I could donate that lab to our local school here. You might be able to. I mean, you could talk to them. A lot of schools are willing to take equipment as long as it's not like some sort of risk.
Yeah.
Where's all the weirdos in the chat? I'm kind of disappointed.
I'm disappointed
You
in
banned them all.
So
I give it 30 minutes until the bots show up.
stem cells. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
we can talk about today. Stem cells and
Yeah.
new experiments that we're working on. Yeah. Stem cells. So the new experiment we're going to work on is purifying. We're going to create protocol to purify and isolate your own stem cells. I'm not that into stem cells. They're kind of cool. I mean, I think the project itself is interesting and fun, but I think there's a lot of people out there who are pretty obsessed with stem cells, and I just want them to shut up. I was like, make a stem cell kit. I want to learn how to work with stem cells and all this stuff. And it's like, no, you don't. Be quiet. But I figure if we actually try to grow, isolate, purify our own stem cells and differentiate them, I think that'd be really cool. We're probably not gonna live stream it because every time we live stream it, we get
Banned.
banned. So we'll probably release the videos online somewhere and let you know when and where. But yeah, that's our current project right now is stem cells, growing stem cells. Yeah, I think the usage of stem cells is questionable. But like, I guess sometimes I support people doing questionable things.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to have something to take a peek in unexpected places. That's how you find unexpected things.
Yeah. And it's not really that complicated. I've been thinking about purifying stem cells for a long time, and looking at protocols and methods and stuff like that. But I don't know. I guess I just never had the motivation or desire to do it, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, like what's kind of the goal here? I don't know. I think it's more to just to do it, see what it's like. It's never been done, and like majority of thing we see as stem cells is people just taking like fat cells and centrifuging them and then like injecting them back into people's bodies, which isn't really stem cells. It's fucking bullshit. So this would be totally different. It'd actually be isolating the stem cells from our fat tissue, which is completely different. I guess you could say it's a lot more legitimate, but like, who knows?
Yeah, and it'd be interesting because the particular stem cells that we're targeting can turn into a lot of different kinds of cells. They can turn into like neurons, muscle cells, fat cells, bone cells. I'm really interested in the bone cells thing. I'm trying to make a bone knife, see if I can get it to like coat some titanium with bone.
Yeah. Or you could make like Wolverine claws. That'd be pretty sweet.
Nerds.
It needs to be something really small. It needs to be small enough to fit in like one of these big flasks, right?
You think maybe that's what Wolverine did. Injected stem cells into his hands.
Maybe so.
They didn't really go into detail on that, did they?
I think they did.
Yeah.
How do you get those claws? Like,
well, he was just
it's
born
metal.
Because he's a mutant.
No, he was. I think he was poured like a lot of special metal in him.
Wait, I thought that originally his claws were bone, though, weren't they?
Yeah, it's like when he was a kid, they were bone, and then when he.
And then it was metal.
Yeah, the government injected him with liquid metal to, burn away his bones and replace them with metal.
Yeah. So, but you should just inject, stem cells in your hands and see what happens. All the other grinders would be jealous.
Yeah, but you could
to try to do that. Seems like a pretty cool project.
Yeah, you could even genetically modify them, then put them back in and have them do other things, maybe.
Like graft Wolverine claws into your body.
Yeah, I bet somebody's thought of a plan, but has just not done it yet. I bet somebody in the grinder
I
community.
guess that really sucked because like you couldn't really get them to grow back like actual Wolverine or something.
Yeah.
So like once they break, and you're just stuck with these like broke. But that would look kind of cool. It looked
It would
like
be kind of cool, honestly. Like you had broken bone claws. That would be kind of
It's
bad.
so painful, probably. Like, can you imagine how painful it is?
I don't know that
what?
you'd feel it. Like bones don't really have like nerve endings in them. It's like when I broke my arm, like I didn't really feel it.
Lies.
Like hitting the ground hurt, but after that it stopped hurting.
Yeah.
Same with the cut. It hurts like when you get a cut, but not after.
Joe says, I've been saving up to buy all the courses. What is the rough estimate? Blah 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 blah. I don't know. I'd say right now you could probably get away with buying the 101 and 201 course.
Yeah.
And if you have the supplies from the 101 course for the 201 course, I think we actually have a 101 201 combo that's like $800. That's really good. And then our lab kit has like a PCR machine, centrifuge, and other stuff. But if you're not really going to get into like
Molecular
biology type stuff, you don't necessarily need those things. Centrifuge is always good, but we sell centrifuges also separately. You can buy those on the website separately.
Or you can use a Dremel fuge.
I don't know.
Spend way much more money and effort.
It's like, yeah, but yeah, it's
all
including
lab kits.
all lab kits, please. I mean, the thing is like a lot of our kits are included in other kits.
Yeah.
So like
Like the
you can buy
101.
some kits and like other stuff is included in it. So
Yeah. So like the 101's already like a combo of other kits.
I mean, frugal science. It's like saying frugal cooking. You know, it's like a weird thing. It's like yeah, you can go to some place and get the shittiest, cheapest tomatoes or some shit when you're making your pasta sauce, but like it's not gonna taste good or work out well. Like there's like a minimum requirement that you should have for your cooking and also for your science. It'll just make your life easier. Like science doesn't need to be super like science shouldn't cost zero. It's going to cost something. You're using a physical product. You're using physical things, right? It's never going to cost zero. And like trying to reduce the price down to zero doesn't make any sense either, right? Or as low as possible because it's not a consumer product. So it's also just like, confusing. It's like there's this company emailing us, and I'm sorry if you're listening, and they're like, we're trying to make the world's cheapest mammalian cell transfection reagent, and we were wondering if you're interested. And it's like $20 cheaper than the nearest competitor or something. And you're like why would you want to make the cheapest? Like there's no pressure to make the world's cheapest transfection reagent. Nobody's looking for that. Like the ones that sell
That's not a hype thing.
already really inexpensive. It already costs like 10 cents per transfection. Like
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? Or like primers, it's like DNA synthesis. It's like primers already cost nothing. You can order a primer for like $3.
Yeah.
And so it's like there's no incentive to go cheaper because somebody's willing to pay $3 for a primer or $5 for a primer. So why charge 50 cents?
Yeah. And if you were getting so much bulk, like if you're like, I need to order 5,000 primers, that would make a difference, then I'm sure you could talk to them and they could come down per unit and be like, hey, I want to make this giant order. What can you do for me?
Yeah, but it's just generally it's yeah. So it's like it's like science doesn't need to be it's like smartphones, right? It's like there's not a market really for like super inexpensive smartphones that cost nothing, right? Like there's always a minimum people are willing to pay to get a smartphone generally, right? Of course, I'm excluding like parts of the undeveloped world or whatever. But I mean, like, all people who are participating in this call and chat and have a computer or cell phone and can have internet and are live streaming, um, you know, like, you're part of the developed world, and like, so you have no desire to buy like a $10 smartphone. Like,
Yeah.
what would you do with it? Right? There's no race to the bottom for smartphones. Most of us are spending $1,000 on a smartphone, you know?
Can you make a smartphone out of a Dremel? That's the question. Dremel phone?
I honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if power tools started coming with screens, like touch screens soon.
I think some of them are.
They might.
Like in the stores, right? There are now like little LCD screens where the price tag used to be. I know
Oh,
if you notice, there's
no.
like LCD screens, and you're like, why do you need? There's like overthinking.
All
Yeah.
right. Person who keeps asking about weaponizing cancer cells, if you ask that question one more time, you get banned. It's a dumb question. It makes no sense. Stop. Get out of here.
What does that even mean? Weaponized? Like,
I don't know. We're not spending time on it.
You're not going to make contagious cancer.
Where do you guys order primers? There's a ton of companies. Just search the internet for like primer synthesis or something, and then sign up and submit. There's so many companies, and if a company doesn't accept your order, just go to the next one, because there's like 50 companies. It doesn't matter if you're in Europe or the US or wherever, there's plenty of companies that will take your order. So, you know, it's not that big of a problem anymore. Back in the day when like there was 2 or 3 major, it was like IDT and like VWR and like, you know, but nowadays there's like, it's really easy to get machines that can synthesize primers. So, you know, I've even thought about it. The problem is just like, I don't see the point, because it's like, what would be the purpose? Like, where would you compete with all these other synthesis companies?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you can't really offer a better product, so the only thing you can really do is be cheaper. So, yeah.
And you wouldn't really want to be cheaper. Like, well, what are you going to charge? You know, like, that's what I'm saying about primers. Is it's like,
Industry-wide, primers are pretty cheap because everybody can do it and they're all the same. So you're just going to jump if they decide to charge $40 for primers, and everybody knows that. So they're all pretty affordable and easy to get.
yeah, right. So it's just like, but yeah, you can. I've looked into it, and you could buy some old ABI DNA synthesis machines that are functional, for just like a couple $1,000s, like $2,000 or something like that. You know, and then all you need is the reagents and the column. I think I have the reagents and the columns, because one time I was interested in building a DIY DNA synthesis system. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense to synthesize your own DNA. Like,
No, it's just like,
so cheap. It's like 23 cents a base pair.
and the thing is, you'd say, well, maybe it'd be better for synthesizing big pieces that cost hundreds of dollars. That's really hard.
Yeah.
That's way harder. And so, like, it also, that doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, and I've had synthesis orders where the company struggles because like weird shit happens. And so I've had them be like, yeah, we failed to synthesize it properly. We're going to do it again and again and again, and have them work on it for like a month or two before they manage to like get it right. And that's all. And it costs the same. So that's all work they did for me instead of me having to sit there and struggle with it for
Yeah.
who knows how long, because they're going to be better at it than I am.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, back to stem cells. So stem cells.
Yeah, it ought to be interesting. Are we going to talk about methods on the live stream, or are you worried that's going to freak the...
No, I don't care. I don't think anybody cares. I think it's usually just like showing people stuff, or
As long as we're not
Yeah.
too educational.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be interesting. So we're gonna have to suck some fat cells out. Luckily, I
Yeah.
I don't even know where can I suck some fat cells out of my body. Like I need to search for it.
just
But I
so
think like feeling my belly, it's like there are definitely some, like even though it feels like just skin, there's got to be some fat right there,
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, skin's like really thin, so like
right?
yeah, if you can pinch like half an inch, you got like almost half an inch of fat.
Uh,
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is like, yeah. So normally, obviously, when they do like liposuction or something, they got these like shit. I mean, usually they're pretty big, but they got these things with like a vacuum, and they just like suck it into a
They're
container.
big jars. It's crazy.
yeah, it's like
Yeah,
this disgusting, like kind of like a needle, but it has a lot of holes, like on the sides and everywhere.
Yeah.
but
Oh.
in this case, it's just gonna like use it. It's like this is the way they do it, though. This is the way scientists do it. But it's also like instead of having a vacuum and the thing, you have a syringe which you pull, which creates the vacuum.
Yeah.
So it's like a manual vacuum where you're just gonna stick it in and be like, pulling it to suck the fat cells into the syringe. But I see pictures and protocols and stuff like that, and like it seems to work really good. Like people get like nice, I don't know, it seems to work. So
We're gonna,
like,
we're gonna give it
Uh,
a shot.
and like the protocols I found online, they were like use uh, a 16 gauge needle or 18 gauge maybe, and I think I like went for 16, tried to find like 14 ones that I can easily get, but it seemed like pretty small. It's like, damn, I can't believe they can do that. I mean, it's still 16 gauge is not small.
Yeah.
It's still pretty big, but it seems
Yeah.
small. Why would you need your
So
fat cells don't multiply. So it makes it really easy to isolate stem cells.
yeah.
So generally what you can do is you can take your fat cells, kind of like centrifuge it and remove all the fat cells, and then just throw whatever's left in a flask. And usually what's left will just be stem cells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the fat cells themselves, like once you grow it and grow it and grow it, the fat cells won't get any more, and so
Yeah.
they'll like get out competed by the cells that do replicate.
Yeah. Fat cells there are certain cell types that just once they're differentiated, they don't replicate. So yeah,
At first, I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. But now that you talked kind of in detail about it, I'm just like, ugh.
It's the
Just
old,
gonna take
the old
hostage some Russian soldier and do it on a.
do the old stab and pull. Just,
I was looking for lidocaine. Obviously, I'm not doing without lidocaine. And in Ukraine, you cannot get lidocaine for humans without a prescription, which I think is stupid.
I
do you
think
need a
I mean, only like a spray, but
yeah,
it doesn't like work. It's for tattoos,
I
but
think
you can buy.
above like 4 or 5%, you
Yeah,
can't.
no, just at all, just only spray, not for injections.
yeah.
No,
But you can buy one for animals. So I think I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, I've used a lot of veterinary medicine.
yeah, I mean
Yeah,
it's the
I
same
figured.
also, but like you can't. It's not legal generally to get lidocaine.
You just can't
Um,
get it. Like you need to have a prescription. Like it's not illegal to have it, but you just cannot get it if you don't have a prescription, which is
yeah, no,
weird.
it's the same in the U.S. Except you can get it like there are a lot of creams and stuff and
Yeah,
like toothache stuff that has like in it.
yeah.
It's just very
But I don't
small.
think it's gonna work very well if you just use a cream or a spray.
Probably not. I don't know. Usually those
I
things
don't
like
think it's
don't
full
work
like skin
properly.
pain, but
No.
So
yeah,
yeah.
I do think it probably will hurt. But I
I
don't
mean,
know. It's a big
I
needle,
the
but
thing is like needles aren't that bad for me. Yeah, especially
like,
like the stomach. It's like if it was going into like some serious muscle tissue or something, then it
yeah,
would be like, oh fuck. But this is just like you're just going through the skin. That's it. It's like getting your ear pierced or something.
No.
It's probably even less pain.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
my
it's just skin you're going through. That's it. Like you're not going into anything.
I can't, still can't. It's just like it feels unnatural when it's your belly. Like I can understand when it's your ear, your nose.
yeah, for me it's like you know, like needles used to freak me out, but after enough experiments and injections, blood draws and stuff, they don't freak me out anymore. But these are some pretty big ass needles, so
I
I'm
just
not with the idea.
I just think that when we're gonna like suck the cells out of it, I feel like that's gonna really hurt.
Why?
Well, I think the needle's so big that it's gonna like sever a lot of the shit on the way in. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if you were like pulling as you're pushing, I feel like it would like just slurp in the cells that are in front of it rather than like displacing
Yeah,
cells.
the needles are also like so when you go in, like all the cells are gonna be like go into the needle also. So then you
Yeah,
like
true.
and then but I think you might so usually I think with liposuction what you have to do is you have to like do
You
one
like
of these
stab into multiple places,
Multiple
kind
times,
of.
yeah, yeah,
when you're underneath the skin, you're just kind of doing one of these to like and then suck and then like do one of these and then suck. Um
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, see, I guess my heart beating a little bit.
Yeah, I don't feel so good anymore.
Yeah,
I like
but
how
like,
Joey's the only one who's like, yeah, okay, this is gonna be fun, and me and David are like, I'm just like slowly, like,
yeah, no, I'm definitely going to be using some kind of painkiller. But the you know, the bigger syringe, you know, because I've got to get like a couple of grams worth. So, you know, we'll see.
grams. Are you sure?
It's like 2 grams what I saw. I don't know what you saw.
Grams are not a lot though. I don't like especially of like wet cell mass. It's not that much, you
And
know.
I think this would probably
It's
be
like
less
a
painful
quarter.
overall than like because like you think about a gram of water, right? That's like an
Yeah.
ml. So like
Yeah, 1 ml, right?
so but like a gram of fat will probably be slightly bigger. I don't know. I think fat cells are lighter than water, but if you if you get the like I think overall it might be less painful than the COVID injections because that 5 mLs or 2 mL, 2.5 mLs,
Oh yeah.
that
Gosh.
definitely hurt. But it was like pretty short lived. It was like it hurt for 15 minutes, you know?
I used to have a fear of needle breaking while in me. I was really young when I thought of this. Thank you. Now I have this fear, even though I know it is not gonna break. But now
Yeah,
I
it's
will
like
have
a
this
bend,
fear.
not really break. I've
Oh.
Yeah.
definitely had a bend.
I just hate the sound. You know the sound when it like breaks the skin when it first like enters. This is just ugh,
Yeah. Yeah, I just
disgusting.
generally don't like the idea of things under my skin. Um,
Yeah.
Oh,
so
really?
that's what I had to kind of
A
get
lot of
used to.
weird phobias and stuff going on here.
That's not a weird phobia. That's like probably one of the most common ones.
It's just
Yeah, like
like
if I have a splinter or something, like I'll carve a hole if I've got to get that splinter out because I'm not gonna go some shit in me.
like
Like
I'm
I'd
not,
rather have
Most,
a hole in me than a foreign object.
oh man, I'm just banning this person. I don't even know who they are. They just won't stop asking the same questions over and over
is it
again.
about weaponized cells or
Yeah,
weaponizing cancer cells?
sorry, person.
Yeah, it just seems like they're critical of chemotherapy, probably.
So, yeah, so after you get the fat cells, then you just process. It's actually not difficult. It's like any other primary cell tissue culture. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
the hard part is definitely harvesting.
yeah, the hardest part is
Oh
definitely harvesting. But I don't
my
think,
god.
I think it's going to be a lot less painful than a biopsy.
It's kind of is like a biopsy though.
Yeah, I mean it is a biopsy, needle biopsy. Yeah,
Yeah, no, but I mean like,
punch biopsy.
yeah, like a punch biopsy, man. Those things, like,
I
yikes.
Oh,
cheated.
that's like when you have like a big circle, like big needle, like
Yeah,
really thick.
like a
Circle, and you
yeah,
just
it's
like,
like a blade circle.
Oh,
Yeah. I've still got scars from mine, but like
yeah, so do I. They don't go away,
no, they
right?
don't. They don't heal
Because you
up.
take out a chunk.
am I the only one here who didn't do that? I feel left out.
Well, it was the first time I was trying to do primary cell culture, and I was the donor, and I just contaminated the hell out of all of it. It was all just fungus after a while, but you
Yeah.
know,
Maybe you are fungus. Maybe you are
oh,
just
I'm sure
fungi.
it
You're
came
just
from
like
me, 100%. There's definitely like
because it's
spores
like
and shit all over me, but like,
Mississippi spores.
oh, for sure, especially since I was doing it in my shed in the woods. But
Yeah.
but yeah, but I'm a lot better at primary cell culture now. So if I can,
Yeah.
yeah, we're trying to get mesenchymal stem cells. But yeah, if I can take, uh, but yeah, I cheated on my biopsy. I also used lidocaine there too, so I didn't feel it.
It's not cheating. I think that's common
Cheating, yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think it's cheating.
The funny part about a punch biopsy though is like, okay, so you do the punch, but it doesn't like suck it out. It just like cuts a perfectly circular hole. Then you have to like grab it and lift, but it's still attached to the bottom. So I needed somebody to come along and like snip the bottom off, and then I got 6 little circles.
Wait,
6. You punched yourself 6 times?
Yeah, so I've got a little grid of
who
biopsy
take the
scars.
bottom off?
A buddy of mine
Oh.
named Thomas. Yeah,
It's
it was just
real
like,
bro. Real friends will do that for you. I wonder if I'm just gonna like. I honestly wonder if I could just ask someone to do it on me. I'm just like I can't do it.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like I can't even
I
do
would
like.
feel
I
way
feel
more
like
comfortable doing it
I'll
myself.
ask someone to do like a lidocaine injection on me, and then I'll do that because I feel like I will understand in my own body where my fat is.
Yeah,
Because like I
and
think
also where the numbness
it's
is, right? It's like if you do
yeah,
numb area, you know where the numbness is. They might just jam right past it or something.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Just
don't
like
trust
through
somebody
me.
else. I'd much rather do it myself than have somebody
Are
else.
y'all gonna do it like here on the belly?
That's probably where I'm going to do it.
I think
I've
so.
got easy access to it there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think
Because
that,
there's
yeah,
like
the most fat in my body is, besides like my butt and boobs, is like right.
no, I
Yeah.
don't have any of those, so it's only the belly.
There's like
Yeah.
little.
Belly, love handles. I got plenty to work with.
I wonder if I can do like my thighs because I have plenty
Yeah.
of fat there.
I mean, I'm sure the skin might be a little tougher. I don't know.
Yeah, my thighs seem like meaty, like muscle. You
I
know.
don't know. I know mine are like soft. You can like, oh my god, I'm so white. This is embarrassing. I should have even showed my thigh. I'm so look at this color of Joe and me. This is
I'm actually
embarrassing.
dark. Like I'm way darker than what this camera lets on. Like
Yeah.
you just see my skin, and just from being outside. Well, I'm from I have a lot of like Southern Italian heritage, so my family is really dark in general. But yeah, being outside in the sun and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I need
mean,
to get tan because I,
Yeah.
no, I'm not gonna do it on my thighs.
Don't pull an Aaron Treywick.
I was just going to say that. 100%. I was just going to say that.
But yeah. So
Oh, double chin.
You never go full Treywick.
grow them up in media. I think what I want to try to do is just make some neurons. I think making neurons for myself would be kind of cool.
Neurons.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I definitely want to differentiate them into a few different things. I definitely want to see bone
There's
cells.
just like 2 chemicals you need to make them into neurons. One is FGF, and the other one forskolin. I think all you need to do is add these 2 chemicals, and then yeah.
Oh man. It's
So
gotta be.
I think that's going to be pretty cool to have little neurons in culture. Be weird,
Yeah.
Especially since it's yours.
Yeah.
You know? Especially if you grow like an organoid and it's a little brain.
Yeah, your little brain. But like if you get brain damage, I wonder if you can use that as a
Just stick it in there.
yeah. Just like why don't I just like do a biopsy on my brain and just extract some brain cells?
You just be like a ood. Just have like a tube that connects it and you just carry it around.
Yeah.
Like a ood.
Just like just do a lobotomy, right? Like nothing else works for me anymore. Like lobotomy would do.
Well, it solves a lot of problems. I don't know if it's the problems you want solved. The
Fair enough.
the But yeah, it would be weird to have like a little squishy little brain
Brain.
that's your brain. It's like your genetics brain.
Yeah, yeah. I think the
That'd be
cool
cool
thing
though.
about this stem cell protocol though is it doesn't require anything like that. It doesn't require any difficult to contain or difficult to obtain chemicals. Obviously, if you want to differentiate it, then it's like
Yeah.
um, you're going to have to get specific things, but otherwise, it just requires normal media that you grow any cells in, and um, the ability to you know get those cells and tissues out.
Yeah, which
You know?
is more about courage than anything else, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. I'm surprised nobody's ever done this before. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess nobody in the DIY community that I know of has.
yeah, yeah. I don't know anybody who's done it either. I'm surprised. There's a lot of things like that where it's just like, yeah, getting your own stem cells would be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
I
it's interesting,
agree.
especially like the bone cells, because like I'm kind of interested in like hard biomaterials. Most biomaterial stuff is like soft stuff
Yeah.
and flexible things, and like hard biomaterials I think are much more interesting.
But like, why grow bones when there are so many bones? Just like
Well,
go
sure,
in a.
specific shapes, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
Growing
true.
bones is pretty cool.
yeah.
I like how you're just like, why grow bones? Is like, I don't know. It's
Like,
kind of,
just get some Russian soldiers. They got plenty of bones. They don't
Yeah.
need.
I mean, bones are pretty good fertilizer. So
Yeah, yeah.
oh,
I
yeah.
used to have a lot of bone ash in my compost.
where'd you get it from?
I used to have hell yeah bone armor. I used to have a deal with a local deer processor, so that would get all the like deer skeletons after they finish making deer sausage, and there would still be like a ton of meat on it. So I would just feed that to my dogs, and
Oh.
whatever they didn't eat, I would just put in a big pile and burn into bone ash, and then mix it in my compost. And so after a few years, you have a lot of piles of bone, and like teeth don't burn up good and stuff. So there's just like teeth in there. It's like
Oh.
it's pretty freaky.
You know.
Yeah.
When are we gonna grow DIY? You know, how do you call it in English? I always forget. Womb. Yeah, I want a DIY womb.
Womb?
We've talked
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, I remember we talked.
It's a tricky one. You have to come back to Texas. We can collaborate on that one.
Yeah, we need to collaborate on that. I want that. I feel like that's honestly the thing that is kind of doable, but kind of not. But I feel like in the future it will be a thing, definitely. Because, like, why carry a baby for 9 months and like struggle when you can just, you know,
Definitely seems
have it
safe.
like swimming in like tank at home. You know, you have your baby just like, and you
Like
like feed it like a little fish. You just like,
or just have it like a big old egg, like the whole thing's like in a big egg with like spots on it. You just wait for the baby to hatch.
yeah, just
Like some turbos that like pop the lid off after 9 months. Human egg.
No, I mean, it depends what you mean by artificial womb, right? So the ideal artificial womb would be going from an embryo to an adult, like gestating. But like nobody's been able to do that. Like you can take something that is like you know, an ungestated developed animal and keep it alive in an artificial womb, but nobody can start from an embryo and go
yeah,
to like um and that's like the hard part because it's like yeah, I mean like any animal that survives in an egg is technically in like an external womb, right? Um, so it's not just like keeping the animal alive because basically the main problem is just oxygenation, right? That's it, right? That's the huge problem is getting oxygen to the blood. And so if you have something that you can like circulate blood with,
Like an umbilical cord. Yeah.
yeah, or
You
something
know,
that's big enough that you can like, it has big enough veins that you can just like stick needles and shit in, like you can do it. But yeah, without that, then it's just like, you know,
Yeah. That's why they can take like a calf and put it in a bag and just
yeah,
replumb its umbilical cord into like a big sack of blood. Basically, they keep refreshed, and then it grow it up the rest of the way. But it's really just a fancy incubator at that point,
yeah, pretty much.
not like a real artificial womb. The ideal would be like you could take an egg and a sperm, put them together, grow it in a little flask for a couple of days, pop it in the incubator, and 9 months later there's a baby, right? Like the
yeah,
whole process.
yeah, they could grow it to like, yeah, but they really can't do well with embryos. Yeah, because like with mice, which is like mice only um are in the womb what is it like 28 days or something like that?
I think it's 21. It's really
21.
short.
Yeah, and like they've been able to get it to like 18 days or something, kind of 17
I think it was
days.
it's
But nobody everybody have actually keep it alive. Um, and that's the main issue. It's just like trying to get oxygen into the system.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, which pretty much means with anything, like a mammal, you're going to have to get it to grow a placenta and an umbilical cord in your artificial womb setup, and that's not super easy.
yeah, get it to have some sort of shared circulatory system.
But like in eggs, like a chicken will grow like just a crazy amount of like blood vessels all along the exterior, and then just absorb it directly from the atmosphere. So there's like maybe something, and even mammals, used to have eggs, and obviously some mammals still do have eggs. So there's something there. It's just like what is it exactly?
I feel
Yeah,
like echidna and platypus are like the coolest mammals because they just lay eggs. That's insane. How is that real?
oh, yeah, I don't know.
Isn't that crazy? Like they're mammals, but they lay eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the old joke about since they both make milk and lay eggs, they're the only animals that can make their own custard.
Yeah,
Exterior. Okay, good.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I mean, like if you could just make a big old human egg, that would be really interesting. Or even other things. Like if you wanted to like try and revive something that's extinct and doesn't have like a you know nearby relative, you're going to need something. Or if you wanted to create something new, like you want to like make some crazy weird hybrid species, or you want to like make a pet dragon, well, what's going to give birth to it? What's going to lay the dragon egg?
Yeah,
So
fair enough.
you'll need something to put it in.
well, I mean, don't you just do like the closest animal relative or something?
Yeah, but who knows if it would like work good? Like, what's the closest? I, mean, I guess it depends
It's
on what
just not fun. Like it's fun to make a fake
If they put
uterus, not all that.
oh yeah,
Just
I
like
wonder.
it's yeah. Don't come up with logical solutions here.
you
We're
just
here
like
just want to like
take a dragon embryo that you engineered and just put it in like I don't know Komodo dragon or some shit.
drag an embryo. How are you gonna make it blow flames out of its mouth?
Yeah,
I don't know if that's reasonable. You have to go with one of the other
That's
dragons.
then it's not a real dragon.
Spit acid or something.
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, whatever. Like, aren't lizards already kind of like dragons?
Yeah,
They
they don't.
don't fly. Well, except for Draco lizards, but that's beside the thing.
They're so cool. I want one.
Make a really big one of those to start with.
Why?
That's a good base. It's a good foundation
For what?
for a dragon, of course.
Yeah,
It's
the
gonna
big
have like
wings. They're smaller. They're like this big, maybe like a foot long, and they have wings and they glide.
Yeah. So here's my thing. Like,
Like on their arms, they have wings. Like,
I can't imagine a future where the world keeps going and in 300 years no one's made a dragon, right?
yeah,
So if in 300 years somebody's made a dragon, why not us? Like,
Oh,
why can't
you
that
want to take
person,
all the
whoever that
fame?
person is, be us, huh?
yeah. Well, I mean, because we don't have the money.
Yeah, I know, right? We definitely need a lot more money. But hey, one little piece at a time.
Hmm.
Like proto dragons, and then somebody else finish the work.
Just make
Yeah.
dogs with the wings, and that's gonna be cool. Can you imagine like a flying chihuahua?
No, you're just walking through the mall. One of them gets off the retracto leash and is just like,
Oh,
uh,
Now that's my. If David wants to make dragons, I want to make flying chihuahuas.
that's okay.
That
My
would be
dragon
my thing.
flying chihuahuas. Keep the ecosystem in balance.
Do you think it's ethical if you make a clone of yourself and make experiments on them?
I mean, it's a person, so I don't think it'd be any different than any other person. If they're like, if you make like just a clone with no head or something, sure. But like,
fuck that! Because like they would escape. I know me, and then they would like do the same to me. They'd be like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna like get your back." They'll be like, "Fuck that!"
you'd be in like a 6th day kind of situation where you're like having to fight your own clone for who gets the life.
I'm just like wake up one morning and I'm like strapped down, and they're like, "What's up?" So I got, they're like, "Wait, no!"
I'm the
And
real
then
me.
tell everybody I was the clone. They'd be like, "This is the clone, and I'm the real one." I'd be like, "No."
Yeah. Flying Chihuahua with bat wings. I probably will add that to my D&D campaign. The I kind of also like
Nerds.
naming it Jormungandr. Although maybe Nidhogg might be more appropriate. Let's see. But yeah, so the stem cells ought to be interesting because we can grow lots of fun stuff, like maybe even
Or
do
eat
like a
them?
workshop.
We should
I
do three
don't
of
know about
all.
eating. I'm not eating.
Which
I'm not
we
eating it.
want to do.
Am I the only one who thought about eating them?
Yes.
What?
Eating the stem cells? Why?
Yeah. Don't you like? You're probably gonna be the first person in the world to try the stem cells, like eat them.
Oh, I doubt that. Some crazy person.
I mean, human stem cells or your own? Maybe your own.
Your own, yeah.
Maybe human, but I doubt it. Yeah. And
No.
why would you even want that recognition? I don't know. It seems like weird.
I
That's
don't
like
know.
that is like being
Like
famous.
eating poop and then getting famous for it.
See, like you ate poop and you got famous. I want to get like famous for eating stem cells.
Yeah.
Well, they have to do something like, I don't know, make your boobs grow bigger or something.
I wish.
It kind of is cannibalism, but I mean, it's also like not that weird. It's like I don't know if you like get a cut and they're like, oh man, you know,
Yeah, you already ate like
oh,
so many your own cells,
your
or like
cells. Yeah.
some people who like bite the inside of their cheek. Probably they are cannibals.
I did that.
Yeah, and I mean, like your cheek cells are like always just like falling off into your mouth. So I mean, you're constantly eating your own cells. But yeah,
Why would you say it like that? No, I don't feel comfortable just like
That
living.
one transhumanist president candidate, what was that guy's name? Something
Who's that?
Benzai, who pretended
Oh,
like he had
I know who you're talking about. I forgot.
something Ben Zion. He like disappeared from the internet, I think.
He did. He did. Yeah, he did the like fake eating his own cells thing.
Yeah. When I saw it, I was like cells. It totally looked like a tuna steak or something. Like cells don't come out looking red. They're completely white.
And like in one chunk.
He got it totally wrong. It was just so disappointing. It was just like, at least if you're gonna fake it in a way that like is scientific.
Yeah, and it was also like a monstrously huge amount. Like it would have taken a while to grow up that much.
Stem cells are all over your body is the thing. Mesenchymal stem cells are, you can find them probably in almost any tissue on your body, really. The thing is just like isolating them and purifying them and quantifying them and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, there's lots and lots of cells that don't copy themselves, and instead they have like a dedicated population of stem cells that manufacture those cells.
Yeah.
Lab-grown human nuggets. Oh man.
Do you think if I'm gonna sell like nuggets from my own cells, people would buy that?
Probably, and it probably would be the people you wouldn't want to buy it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair
They're
enough.
not going to do not gross things with it.
Yeah, I think eating them would be probably like the best thing they would do.
With stem cells?
No, just like not stem
Maybe
cells, but just
something
like your
inside.
cell.
Yeah.
Some link Lyra shared. Is that like a link to a fake company that makes human cells or human steaks or something?
Let's find out.
Merch nuggets. Yeah. I like
Yeah.
merch nuggets. It even sounds good.
I think the coolest thing about this stem cell thing is that all these people who are always ask about stem cells.
It's eat celebrity meat.
Yeah.
What? I thought.
Website. Yeah.
Come on.
But I think the coolest thing about these stem cells is that all these people who are always like, I'm into stem cells, then we'll just be like, all right, well, here's a protocol.
Go grow your own cells.
Go grow your own cells. Here's how easy it is.
Yeah, growing just like some stem cells, or just it's so 2021. Like we're growing our own stem cells.
Yeah.
The cool kids.
Cool kids. I don't know. I think we're three giant dorks. I don't know if anybody would call us the cool kids.
I know. I only see two dorks in myself, so.
I was gonna say this.
I was gonna say which one's which then. How's comics going? I don't think anything's changed in the last 20 years.
Crown.
Yeah, no.
Person is just throwing. I think this person who said how I was crying, they throw like one random question like every minute.
Maybe they're just bored with our talking points and then want to start.
Or just like just blah blah blah.
I gotta appreciate it though, right? Because like you don't want to hit a lull where you're just like, so, what's up?
Well, I mean that's your guys' fault because you're the boring ones.
Whatever. What if like I'm gonna get killed with a bomb right now, and this is the last words you're ever gonna say to me, that I'm boring? Wouldn't you feel sad?
No.
Whatever. I'm not gonna die on purpose just so just so
disappointing.
just so I can outlive yourself. You.
Oh yeah.
As far as this engineer guy, like, what do you think the biochemical triggers tell geometry, blah blah blah? So like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them that have been sort of mapped out, so I kind of know what you need to give it to get it to differentiate into a specific cell type. For all of them, maybe one day, but there's definitely a lot of them that have already been pretty well mapped out. I'm definitely going to try and genetically modify some of mine just because.
What are you gonna to turn them into bone cells?
Well, I mean, that's not really a genetic modification. I'll definitely differentiate them, but I might make some GFP bone cells or something just to be weird.
Wait, GFP bone cells?
I know. Wouldn't it be crazy? You could zoom in with a fluorescent microscope and watch them slowly depositing bone. Think of the time lapse that would make. It'd be awesome. Cells squiggling around, laying down bone.
You say so. I thought you were gonna say follistatin, and I was like, please don't. Everybody on the stream would get super excited, but
Yeah, I might do that too. We'll see what
Everybody's
happens.
gonna be like, David, cholestatic mini circles.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
You don't need mini circles if you have a cell line that overexpresses follistatin.
Mini circles, cholestatic. I think that those are at least like 10% of the questions we get.
It's my contribution.
Hmm.
That's honestly not the worst it could be.
Oh yeah, what's the worst?
I don't know, eating poop or jerking off a dog. I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh,
I prefer those.
What
To
do you?
like,
Okay, people in the chat. What do you think is the worst? Eating poop, eating someone else's poop, or jerking off a dog in front of a camera? Both things are done in front of a camera. So I genuinely want to know what is worse. Can you imagine? Like right now, I'm laughing, at you, and like in 5 years, probably I'm gonna do something so cringe, so embarrassing that like it's gonna like even like eating poop would be like nothing compared to that.
oh, gross.
Jerking off. Oh no. Puke.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm winning so far.
It's just like one person wrote.
audience.
Oh
Oh
man,
yeah. Oh no.
definitely
Audience.
winning.
I thought that was Biohacker's chat. I mean,
Oh, eating your own stem cells.
Just the wrong audience.
eating your I think eating your own stem cells would be the best out of all these things.
Eating your own stem cells.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Okay, who keeps talking about doing both?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. What what is fecal organized? Like what?
I don't know. Doesn't really make much sense. Um, anyway,
You take the
so I
somebody
guess
else.
I lose this one.
But
But
I would say honestly, I would prefer to eat a poop because like you don't feel it. Like it's literally you just like swallow a pill and you're done. But like
As long as the pills
jerking off a
don't.
dog, like no. Like I understand it's for like important reasons, but still, absolutely disgusting. It's like, ugh,
I
I
used to have
don't
a lot
know.
of friends that worked with horses in college because I went to a school that was like part
Yes.
agriculture school, and they had to jerk off the horses all the time. And, like,
Yeah, it's disgusting.
yeah, I mean, I've never like seen a dog penis, but I imagine a horse penis is just like
Oh yeah.
I don't. It's
Horses
huge.
like there's even like yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I haven't seen like jerking off a cow because my dad has a cow farm, like for milk. But I have seen like how they inseminate. Usually, you just like order semen online, like bull semen, and it comes to you like frozen
Yeah,
in liquid nitrogen, and then you have this. I feel so bad for cows. Like I'm so sorry, but there's like a syringe that's like this big that goes, goes inside, and they're just like, "What is going on?" And you're like, it
I
just
tell you, the I've seen videos of like how they do collections on bulls, and like there's like a whole like metal like fake cow, and they're just like inside like holding like a big old like collection bag thing.
oh no. Can you imagine if like the bull misses and you're there holding? Like I would just kill myself if I would. And it probably happened. Like it probably happened.
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure that's
Like,
happened.
can you imagine someone has to like build like a fake cow sex doll for bulls, and people would be asking, "So what do you do for a living?"
There's like a little door so like people can go in. Oh man.
yeah. Anyway, enough talk about poop and.
Never enough talk about poop.
Oh man.
Back to stem cells. Yeah, whatever. Stem cells are boring.
Back to stem cells. Yeah, I like that. Back to stem cells. But yeah, so that'll be interesting.
I think yeah, I think one of the things also is like trying to figure out how to disseminate this information.
Yeah, so we
And
don't
So
get
behind a
the algorithm.
paywall.
we're live streaming on Odyssey right now, and I know we could probably post their stuff on Odyssey for sure, and they won't take us down.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be one of the hard things is like
Where to
how do
post it?
you like get all this information out there now in the future without without getting banned from places. Uh, yeah.
It's not easy because I mean we've done way less invasive stuff and gotten banned.
Yeah.
And just like how do you make it like here's the thing is like how do you make it because here's the thing if you make like a documentary or something like that, it's totally okay to show all this stuff. Like nobody cares, right?
Right.
So it's like, how do you take this stuff and make it like more professional and more documentary like? So it's treated like it's a different category than
Yeah.
just like some
YouTube video.
shit. Yeah.
And you're probably right. Like the window dressing probably makes a lot of difference.
Ooh, actually, a Telegram channel would work, I think.
Telegram
has videos?
channel for
Telegram doesn't delete any, like, only if you're like a terrorist, maybe they would delete something.
no, but I mean like who uses Telegram?
Everyone in Europe.
Okay, so like 3 people.
Excuse me?
Like there's more people in Texas than there is in like half of Europe.
No. Absolutely no.
Yeah, no, Telegram. Here's the thing is like everybody's always like, ooh, here's this new idea to like, let's do this thing. Let's, I want to start. I got an email this morning and this person's like, I'm starting this new like Stack Overflow for science or some shit like that. And it's like, good, great. But like the problem isn't creating these things. The problem is getting people to go there, right? And like once you start using less used or rarely used things, like it's hard to get people to like download Telegram because I imagine most people in the U.S. and or world, besides some people in Europe, have Telegram. Download Telegram. Figure out how to use it. Join the channel or chat, and consume the content. Like that's way too many steps, I imagine, for most people. And like obviously, if you're trying to keep things super private, I don't think it's like terrible, but I think like generally stuff you host on your own website, they can't really take down. Some companies might come against you, but generally it has to be pretty egregious.
Maybe post it on the CDC website.
For sure, we can. And like Odyssey, like I said, and we could link to Odyssey and stuff like that. I want to start doing stuff like that where it's like more platform independent.
Yeah.
So that yeah, but like people will go. It's really easy to find. Like all you have to do is go to like the CDC website or something like that, and you can find all the newest content that we have.
I think the best way is honestly to post on as many platforms as possible.
And we could like put links to stuff on social media, and it's harder to ban you because like you're not posting actual videos or anything like
Yeah,
that.
it's just a link to.
Yeah. And like making stuff, private or password protected or things like that, making it, slightly less open so that it's harder to get banned for it. I think there's a lot of things we can do that makes the content available, but does so.
I think you have to put like a big ass disclaimer that says for educational purposes only, done by professionals. Do not
I
repeat
don't think
this
that
18
matters.
plus.
I
And
don't think that matters.
I think it will. Like, it
No,
will soften your
no, that's not why YouTube like didn't ban me. No, because I didn't have a disclaimer at the beginning of my video. They're not like, you forgot to put a dis. People say that a lot, but it's like you can put up a sign anywhere. It doesn't withhold you from legal responsibility, right? You can put up a sign in your business that says we are not responsible for if you get hurt or something like that. But you totally are if it's your fault, right? And so like disclaimers like that at the beginning of videos are kind of like legal jokes, you know?
Do you think Twitter will ban it if we post it?
Like the videos?
Yeah, the video itself.
Probably. Well, I don't know. I mean, imagine how long the video is and what it is, you know. But I think if it shows actual like people stabbing themselves with needles, then
I don't
um,
know. Every day I open Twitter, I just see like it's allowed to show like the killed bodies of people during the war, but like no needle. There's like a
I mean,
body with no limbs. You can
these are
you can look at that, but
silly
not.
arguments though. These are silly arguments though.
Just
Like
don't get the policy right. If it's like New York Times, they can post some gruesome stuff like that actually can disturb your how you feel about stuff. But like a
are
needle,
you saying the world's unfair? Like, what's your point?
no, it's not like I'm right now like 100 miles away from the war or something.
I'm confused. What does that have to do with anything?
No, I'm just like, of course it's unfair. Like, there's bombs flying in my city, but like, it just honestly, I didn't think that it would be a point in time where I wouldn't know where to post an educational video like on the whole internet. I miss the old internet.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
What old internet though? You know, like I'm
I don't
like
know. The
I
internet
know, like you
became a
used to
social
post
media.
anything, or, there's like pirating everything, no, just like I don't know, you could do whatever. Torrent files. Oh my god, yeah. Let's go back to 2003.
yeah, but I mean, you could barely stream videos back then, and content was like hard to
Yeah, that's true.
travel as fast. It was just like I don't know. Sure, I guess I miss Napster, but like I'll also gladly pay $5.99 a month for Spotify access to anything that not have to worry about viruses. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
will say the old internet was more fun to consume. This one's definitely more useful to like share stuff on.
wait, why was the old internet more fun to consume?
I don't know. It's like going out in the wild wild west. It was like a whole other world. Now it's just like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
I mean, like Netflix is pretty fun.
I mean, I do like Netflix,
Like,
but it's like not meaningfully different from having cable. You know.
sure, but I mean that's it. Sure, I guess, but like,
World.
I mean, it's like I'm not somebody who's usually really like, ooh, you know, like the good old days of this or that. You know, it's usually like technology moves forward, and obviously there's all these new technologies that we use that are super great. They contribute a lot to our lives, right? And like we don't control them, and they're not fair.
Right.
But it's not the point. The point isn't trying to make them fair. Like they're not going to be made fair. It's impossible for them to be fair. So it's just like figuring out ways to live and survive while also, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people suggest this, like making your own video hosting website, but it's like completely not doable. Like
Yeah.
you'd have to have a massive
It doesn't
server.
even make any sense.
Yeah, like
Yeah, are people who suggest make your own social media? It's like what? Like
yeah, it's like that's like a multi-million-dollar like endeavor to try and then compete with multi-billion-dollar companies.
yeah, the thing that sucks about video hosting is like sure, you can upload a video to any server and host it. That's not the problem. The problem is the bandwidth usage. Like bandwidth usage can be really expensive. And so like if you have a video that actually a lot of people are watching, or even just like a reasonable number of people are watching, is going to be really expensive for you, and that's what video hosting places do, right? They eat up the cost of what bandwidth, right? But they get to buy it in bulk, and so it's really cheap and expensive and stuff like that.
Can we do an OnlyFans to post a video about liposuction? I'm like genuinely curious.
I mean, I don't think, I have no idea how OnlyFans views stuff like this. But I think like using any main streaming service that's not like doesn't allow some sort of privacy, like Vimeo or Odyssey or something. I think you're always just gonna risk getting banned. Like it doesn't matter what it is, because I think what you have to understand is like these big companies, it's not about doing the correct thing. It's about um, their lawyers like deciding what is worth the risk. And like a video like ours, most people are just going to say is not worth the risk, whether it's sketchy or not. And I think that's the issue, is that like it's like with our payment processors, we finally found a payment processor at the Odin that like we will never ban us, we think. And before that, we went through 4 or 5 payment processors. And so it's like it doesn't matter which one we went to, they all eventually banned us, right? Because they're all operating within the same system. And so like I don't think it matters if you use YouTube or Twitch or OnlyFans or wherever, like you're eventually going to be banned. Like as long as you can fly under the radar, like nobody cares or something like that. But when somebody starts reporting you or whatever, like, so it's like figuring out a way to operate outside of that system, right? And it's not necessarily easy, and you're not necessarily going to get as many views and stuff like that, but like,
Yeah, you probably do like some people do, and just have like a little primer and then a link to like the full thing somewhere else. Put that up.
yeah.
See, people are psyched about OnlyFans. We just say that we're gonna do an OnlyFans. They like subscribe, and then they're disappointed because it's actually like science content.
Biohacking. Post a video.
Yeah, and they're like,
Biohacking.
God dang it!
Yeah,
Uh,
just
Yeah.
just like catfish people, just like make the like, I don't know, just have a thumbnail, the thumbnail or whatever look like it's gonna be something else, and then it's just like, here's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
to transform E. coli.
yeah.
Because I think like OnlyFans is not
I'm being
only for
educated right
porn.
now.
Like there's people who are doing like art and stuff like that. So I mean, they are a minority. I don't know how they survive on that platform. Do they earn any money?
Yeah. I
They
mean,
make
yeah.
money either.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing with OnlyFans. Is it's like the content that you'd want to put on OnlyFans, that you'd hope that they keep it because it's OnlyFans. They might not keep it. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe you could pretend it's like some sexual thing. I don't know where they are with sexual fetishes. So maybe your sexual fetish could be like purifying stem cells. You make weird noises while you're doing it. Oh yeah, this is so good.
Oh,
gosh.
Yeah, this is so
I mean,
good.
honestly, of all the ideas we've talked about, I think that's the most likely to succeed. As
Yeah, that's actually not a bad one. Just make like a disgusting thumbnail, and people are gonna click, and they're gonna be like, well, what is this? And they're like, okay, I'm just gonna like skip 30 seconds, and they're actually gonna get interested. They're like, okay, how did they gonna purify these stem cells? And then they even forget that they were horny. Now they're just like, how do I purify stem cells? Because why be horny when you can just purify stem cells?
Just education by catfishing.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Just do ASMR cell research.
I'm gonna want like pipette sounds.
10-hour version.
Share my thoughts on Hamilton Morris. He's he's great. Hamilton's a friend of mine. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, what thoughts? I don't really think much about him. I hate when people say that, like, share your thoughts on this thing. It's like I don't have any. I didn't think I didn't think about it. I don't know. He's a good
Yeah.
person.
I know.
Is y'all's
Expecting their
conversation for Biohack the Planet still up on the internet somewhere?
I think so.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could probably search through YouTube and find, you know.
Oh wow, that person solved it. Biohacking on a blockchain, Web3 decentralization is the only way to. I never. Whoa, that's crazy. You solved it.
Yeah, finally.
Finally, blockchain is the answer to all of our problems.
Web 3 is the only answer to everything in this world, so I don't know. Should we do an NFT about
I
I
don't
think
think
the
it's
days have already
NFT
died.
anymore.
I think they've already died.
Yeah, I think it's too late. I think the NFT boom is over.
Yeah.
what was it? The last stream we talked about crypto maxi pad. What was it?
I don't remember, but it was
I
vaguely.
don't know. We need to like create something for crypto bros to like throw their money at us.
That's true.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it.
Do is like, how do you sell something only to crypto users?
Uh,
Yeah.
you just call it a token.
No, I mean, like, how do we get them to give us like Bitcoin? We have to sound really cool.
Hmm.
Like we're starting a biohacker community DAO Web3.
Yeah.
Here's our ETH address and Bitcoin address. Send us money.
Yeah. What you do is you just build like a pyramid scheme. So it's like if you can get 3 people to give us, bitcoins, then we'll send you 1 Bitcoin, and then just build a pyramid scheme.
Good idea.
Like a biohacking Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
The Helix coin. Yeah, that sounds cool. Helix coin sounds so much better than Bitcoin or
Yeah.
Ethereum. Come
Trouble
on,
is, you always
Helix
have to
coin.
get 2 of them.
Yeah.
But the
The
blockchain address
CBC coin.
spells DNA for some reason. I think people have already done that one. The trouble is, what if it's like, okay, so you make a strain of E. coli or something that has like your blockchain address, but then like if you go for long enough, like they might mutate and then you've lost your address when you could have just like put it on a piece of paper. It would last for like 1,000 years.
Yeah. Unless your -80 dies.
I have an idea how people will not ban us. We're just gonna do a CD, like a CD disc, download the video on a CD, and just send it to like flash drives and send it to like everyone we know.
That's old school. People used to do that stuff. Like,
Sounds way too expensive though.
oh yeah, yeah. Like that was a big thing in like the band dog community for a while. It's like people would make like demo videos and then just like mail cassette tapes to people, and just be like, oh man, look at this dog, and you put it in the VCR, and they're like, oh, I'm getting one of those dogs. But it worked. Like that's how Joe Lucero got started. Y'all,
Just like email everyone you know this.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll post it.
I don't know. A lot of laptops nowadays don't even have CD-ROM drives. Like, I don't think this one does.
Yeah. Most don't anymore. But yeah.
Not like cabbage.
You just want
I
to
like the name.
that. People just be like, you should contact Elon Musk. And I'm sure you
Oh
guys,
yeah,
I'm like, okay. There's
no problem.
I have no
Give
idea.
me a second. I'm gonna give him a call.
Thanks for the advice. Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest thing is like we got to, it's not an easy problem. If it was an easy problem, we'd have solved it already. So it's like, you gotta and also like nobody gives a shit, right? Like nobody's gonna take a risk for you.
Yeah.
So,
Nobody's gonna take a risk for you. That's the crazy thing is like, even people you know, even people you're friends with, like, why take a risk? Like, what does it benefit somebody else? That's the thing. And you
Because
think
they're
like all these Silicon Valley people or like, business people are like, ooh, they're always talking about innovation and risk and all this other bullshit. But it's just in word, it's not in deed. They're not out there trying to fund things that are super controversial.
yeah.
No, like they're funding things that generally are very, you know, like uh, like the Stripe, the company that we got banned from payment processor, right? There's like a billion payment processors already. There's Stripe, there's Square, there's Braintree, there's PayPal, there's all these ones. And somebody who started Stripe had to go and be like, hey, I'm starting this payment processor company and it's going to change the world. And somebody was like, here's all this money, but it's like a fucking payment processor company, right? And this was like less than 10 years ago or something, right? We're not talking this company was built like 30 years ago, right? This is when there were already payment processor companies, probably a 50 of them.
Yeah.
And so it's like Silicon Valley is not funding, or venture capitalists or the world is not funding innovation or risk taking or anything like that. And that's the problem because they don't have to, they don't need to, right? They can wait until society has already decided that this thing is good and then like make it
Yeah.
part of their stuff. And that's the sucky part, is that like if you're actually doing something innovative and controversial, like good luck, um you know good luck
Yeah.
getting funding or support from anybody.
If you wanna back the island fund, I'm down. I'll happily buy
Yeah,
that.
send an invite.
Fund it. The yeah, if you take it, but I mean that's the thing, and it's even like, somebody's just going to weigh the like potential ad revenue against like the cost of even like the babyest failed lawsuit, and then just going to be
Yeah.
like, now you're gone. We make $37 a year off of you guys. So,
Yeah, no, for sure.
what's
So
you
it's
guys favorite color?
Salamander green. That's fancy.
It's a very specific green. Like, isn't there a lot of
Yeah,
variation
I
between
I
men?
want to Google it now.
Or don't salamanders come in like all kinds of greens, and then like black and red?
that's the hardest thing though for me, is just like, number one, it's like it sucks that decided to work on something that was, I mean, when I first started working on it, I didn't think it was so controversial.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would ever be. And now at this
Same.
point in time, obviously I know it's controversial, but it still annoys me every time because it's just like,
Because it doesn't need to be.
yeah, I'm just like, we're not, like, nothing bad is happening. Nobody's getting harmed besides maybe us. And just like, and still it just lacks the support, and it sucks because it's just like, the reason it lacks the support is because it lacks the support, right? It's like with anything that eventually becomes accepted in society, is that like once people start accepting it, then everybody accepts it. Whether it's like gay or LGBTQ or whatever, like it's like once society starts accepting it, then everybody accepts it. And so it's just waiting for people to, be public in support of this stuff and actually try to help us out, um, instead of just like everybody trying to slow us down or
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
support us.
And once like distributed biotech becomes like cool and reasonable in most people's minds, then all the shit gets easy. But until then, it's like, yeah, let's just keep throwing at walls that don't need to exist.
Yeah, and it's so disheartening because it's just like,
Yeah.
it's fucking science, It's like if we were in a university, like none of this stuff would be controversial.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the thing.
Which is also kind of an aesthetic thing, Like, and that's what bothers me more is like you can be in a university in like a lab with like your white coat on and just be spewing some bullshit on YouTube, and they're like, "This is fine." But as
Yeah,
soon as
they're
you
like,
like
this is legit.
garage and tell the truth, people are like, "No, this seems sketchy. Fuck it." So it's like they're not making judgments based on like the accuracy of your information. They're making judgments on like how does it look, who are you.
You know,
Yeah.
So it's like
So
truth by
just make our,
authority.
our own university.
People do that. Like there's all kind of like sketchy unaccredited universities. There's nothing to it. It's
oh,
just a business.
we did have to make our own university, then our own social media, then our own streaming site, and then our own FDA or something, and then we're
Yeah.
good. That's it.
Well,
And we
well,
gotta
we
make,
have our own CDC, so
well, once you buy your own island and make your own country, it all gets real easy, right?
yeah.
I forgot. I forgot. Gets pretty easy after that, because then we could just make our own laws.
Exactly. We make it illegal to ban our videos.
It'd be illegal to not be a biohacker. And then you have a country full of biohackers.
People are just doing performative biohacking just to satisfy the law. They're like, "Yep, here's me transforming E. coli again."
It's like at noon every day, everybody's got a pipette.
uh,
Yeah. One day I hope that. Yeah. The thing I hope the most is that like 20 years from now, it's still the same way, and I just feel like I, you know, fought all this time and nothing changed.
yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case, though. I think I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm usually more pessimistic, but still, it's just like that's the thing I dread the most. Is just like, uh,
Yeah.
because it's just like things still feel just as difficult as they were. Obviously, there's more people doing this stuff, more people interested in biohacking and everything like that. But it's also just like it also feels like like nothing has really changed compared to like 5 years ago. In terms of just like the acceptance and the regulation and yeah.
For regulations, definitely, but I also feel like, I think it's like a critical mass type of thing. So at least that's my hopes. Is that like once you hit some critical mass, it starts to like, run itself, right? And then it's like, then other people are pushing more, and then it becomes like less of a, I have to push again and again and again, and it's like a huge wall of people are pushing that's ever growing, and then hopefully like politicians catch on and start eventually changing.
I mean, what you need is a breakthrough. Wait, you're saying that creating a COVID vaccine in our kitchen wasn't a big enough breakthrough? You don't need a breakthrough. I think that's the most misinformed thing that people say. Is that like biohackers need to do something amazing? We already have multiple times.
Yeah.
That's not it.
But then they're like, no, that's not it. It's not. We need there's something
Yeah,
else. Then you
so
do
let's
like, I don't know,
delete all the
whatever
videos.
you would do.
Watch
Like
that,
if it's even if it's like a cure for cancer, they'll still be like, no, that's not it.
Now, if biohackers did come up with a cure for cancer, as unlikely as that obviously is, nobody would accept it as real. It would just be like,
There's no such thing as
Never.
a cure for cancer anyway, because there's just cancer is different.
yeah.
Yeah, that's also,
But even if it was, like hypothetically,
Computer. It's like the computer, right? That's the thing people don't understand is just that, like, you remember first computers? There was nothing like profound about them,
no.
right? You could like play solitaire and type up, your school homework or something. But that was pretty much it. You couldn't do anything, right? And the reason computers changed our world isn't because they were able to do these groundbreaking things, right? That's the thing, right? People are like, oh, you have to be able to do this crazy, amazing thing. Number one, we already did. Number two, I don't think you do. I don't think that has anything to do with it at all. I don't think, because it's like, it doesn't matter what you do, it's going to at least be somewhat ignored by society. Like, until society is ready to accept that thing. So it's just like, it's more waiting for society and capital, like companies to push this stuff so that more people are using it, so it becomes more widespread and people have more knowledge on it and all this other stuff. Um, it's not a single breakthrough. That's not what caused the computing revolution, was like one company or one breakthrough. It was the fact that so many people were pushing computers onto people because they knew that it would be a technology that had a lot of benefits, even before the technology really had any benefits.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, when it's just a fancy typewriter. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and and I think that's it. It's like once it's kind of like propaganda. It's like you just have to have enough people. Like if enough people believe, like if everybody in the United States believed that biohacking was going to like make the world a better place, like we wouldn't have a problem. And so it's like, how do you get more people on board with like understanding that thing? But it's like, a lot of people still think that like biotech in general is just like evil, and that like we shouldn't like mess with nature or whatever, and that stuff's hard. Like that's a strong narrative.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think like my goal in biohacking is not to do anything great. Like we've already done so much. I think that's just like ridiculous, or you haven't been paying attention to what we're doing if you think, we haven't done anything amazing. And so it's like the goal is to like figure out ways to change perception that aren't just like doing experiments and doing science, because that's very singularly noted, right? It's like you need to reach different audiences. You need to find different people.
Yeah. Yeah. And zombie outbreak is solved by biohacking. I mean, I think that I'd watch that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just takes time. I think the biggest thing is just like build infrastructure and make everything easier for other people. Let other people start making more and more things, and then just like because like if you can replicate yourself, you'll do way more work than if you just do work, right?
Totally, yeah.
That's true.
It's definitely about building the infrastructure and doing stuff like the stem cell thing, or like all the experiments we do where we create these protocols and make them publicly available so people can follow and do what we do, right? It's so that the next person doesn't have to learn all the things we learned or try all the things we tried, and it makes life so much easier. And so it's just like that's why we're doing it. People are always like, "Ooh, like, what's your goal with these experiments or something?" And a lot of times it's just like to make the knowledge available, because you know, a lot of times people don't even have access to this knowledge, right? So it's just like, yeah,
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, it's just. I think that's what our kind of like generation of biohackers is it can do most usefully is just like create infrastructure and solve the problems from like biohackers don't exist to biohacking's relatively easy to get into.
Yeah.
Solve those problems. The next generation is way bigger and has way more opportunity to do crazy shit.
you know, yeah, because it's tired. Like it's like we need rival biohacking groups or something.
Right? Why are we the only ones?
I don't know.
Can we not have a biohacking war? Like hackers used to have hacker wars between hacker groups.
Yeah.
Cringe. Like we're the only not cringe biohackers. Imagine. Like, can you imagine all the weight on our shoulders of like carrying the biohacking community? Ugh.
Yeah, so somebody else make a super group, and then we can fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want some beef. I want some.
Yeah.
Uh,
That'd be
Yeah, but
another
that's
biohacking
like
group.
mostly
That's
fake.
what I know, but I mean, it's the truth. It's like that's when I know things like when there's other companies like the Odin, who are doing anything remotely like it. Um, or when there's other like biohacker groups or things like that. That's when I know things will start to have a lot more momentum. But right now, it's just like everything that is done by us. And every once in a while, somebody, like Sebastian genetically modified a plant. I'm not saying that's like the craziest thing. A lot of people have genetically modified plants. Um, but it's pretty interesting for somebody to do DIY. I think he used agrobacterium or something. Um,
Yeah,
but
I,
like
I have
besides that, I don't think any biohacker has done anything, you know, to contribute to the community at large.
substantial.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's just
One
like,
problem. That's one problem a lot of biohackers have is they have like a secret project. They all think they're Generation Two biohackers. So it's like they have a secret project, and they're like, okay, I'm just gonna like hide in my basement and do my secret project. And I had the same kind of idea at first too, right? And so it's just like, but your secret project is gonna take you a long, long time, and it's not gonna like really build anything. Uh, but the idea is like, okay, I'll just like quietly do my secret project. But like growing biohacking as a thing does more projects than you silently doing your project secretly somewhere in your basement.
I agree.
So
yeah,
I think that's where a lot of the biohackers are. Is they're like, they're just trying to be tech bros.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like diet tech bro.
I hate when people like I see tweets and Twitter. People be like, "Why biotech can't be more like tech?" I'm like, I, I mean, I don't like the state of biotech right now, but like, please do not make it like Google and like other tech companies. This is horrible. Like, why would you want it?
I wouldn't mind Google's money. Like I wouldn't mind having Google's budget.
I mean, only that.
yeah, but pretty much, yeah, it's yeah, the more people need to get involved and do stuff, and it's not that complicated, and that's like everything that like the Odin is trying to support, that we're trying to support, and it's just like I'm excited for the day and I hope it's like while I'm, haven't given up on biohacking yet, that it's not like 30 years from now that all of a sudden there's like rival biohacking groups. I hope it's while I'm still interested in working on these things
Yeah.
that
Just be
it
too
actually happens.
And I'll be
Yeah,
this, angry grandma going like, "I did it first. You kids know nothing about it." They're
yeah.
like, "Grandma, what you talking about?"
yeah. So it's just like, yeah, I wish more people would get involved. People get involved, and I don't know what else I could do to inspire people. But if you're like listening and watching this, like, there's so much room in this space. There's so much stuff to do, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, there's
I
so
think
many.
that's one of the biases about biohacking is that you believe that there's so many people working on something. That's what I believed when I first got into because I was much later than you guys. So I was like, oh, there's so many people working on so much stuff. But then when you actually get into it, you're like, oh, that's only like a few people, like a dozen max people actually working on something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there
Yeah,
is a lot of space for people.
a lot of these people are like, um, working on stuff that they're like keeping quiet about, or like, which is also another thing that's just kind of like, it's like
Yeah.
it's not the point
At
of
least
it's not biohacking to me. If you're like, you know, some secret project, like you're not working on anything that needs to be kept secret. First off, let me tell you, like
I
let's be
know
honest.
they actually like they were like actually working on like we're gonna cure cancer, we're gonna like do everything, and then you're like, oh, what's gonna be their secret project? And they're like, well, I grew a potato in my garden. This is what I do, because they'll post like a kind of like a motivational post that, like, even though you work so hard for so long, things don't really work out. So now I am focusing on my garden, and I am just, making myself some food out of that I grew in my garden. I'm just enjoying the small things, and I'm like, dude, this is why I don't set the goals of like curing the like old diseases and stuff like that. Just like
Mhm.
smaller steps.
Yeah, I have trouble with that. I'm always just like, no, I'm just pick the biggest thing and do that.
Yeah.
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 But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, I think a lot of people also just like, I don't know, they think that they're going to convert whatever it is into some multi-billion-dollar business because they've developed this product, and then so they want to keep it all secret. And so you end up with like people that are like, oh man, I want to tell you about what I'm doing, but I can't do it unless you sign a non-disclosure agreement. And then I've never had anything interesting happen on the other side of a non-disclosure agreement. It's
Yeah.
always
I usually tell people like, I had somebody contact me about a non-disclosure agreement. They wanted to talk to me or something the other day, and I was just like, "Look, number one, I'm not just going to talk to some random person that I don't know anything about, and then they're not even willing to tell me what their project is. Like, what's the incentive here? Number
yeah,
two, ideas aren't worth shit,
yeah,
right? It's the execution of ideas that is actually worthwhile. So like, nobody's going to steal your idea, or if they do steal your idea, it's your own fault that you never even executed on it, right?
yeah.
Because like anybody can come up with an idea. That doesn't mean anything.
And lots of
Like,
people do.
Ideas are not worth anything.
yeah,
Literally, ideas are not like, stop gatekeeping and just like keeping your
yeah,
ideas, collecting your ideas, and thinking you're a genius for thinking. All of the people think they come up with same ideas. You're not original. Just do something, and then you will be original.
Exactly. Most people like it's like ideas are just kind of like ready. So it's like, all the like pieces are in place. And now it's just like reasonable to be like, oh, I'll just put these two pieces together and new idea. But it's like not revolutionary. Like out of 8 billion people, like lots and lots of people have had the same idea, but like somebody's gonna be the first one to actually act on it, and that's the person who will benefit from it. And the rest will all be guys who are like, I had that same idea years ago. When they
I
see it
hate when people do that. I hate when
yeah,
people do that.
on
yeah. I get those emails and messages sometimes. After I do something, somebody will be like, "I did that already," and I'm like, "You did? When? Show me
yeah.
it." Or like, "I had that idea a long time ago," and it's just like, okay, yeah, yeah. I guess we're starting to piss somebody off. Well,
Oh
sorry.
no, not Joe Rogan. Oh
Oh no!
no.
Oh no!
No. What are you gonna do? Eat elk? I don't know. Do DMT? Be racist again and get canceled for saying the N word? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Oops.
here's the thing: is like, we're not saying that there's not other people out there like who are doing stuff. There are very very few, but there are people out there doing stuff. But like everything seems to it's so small and disparate that like we us three and the Odin and people associated with it, it seems to be everything in biohacking is centralized around that right now, and that's annoying. I'm not saying that I like it or I want that or anything like that. What I'm saying is that like I think it would be so much better if it weren't true, because like it would benefit everybody if there were like multiple biohacking groups or multiple people doing things all the time, right? But there's not. And if you could give me examples, sure, I'd be happy to like acknowledge those people. But like there's really not, and so it's disappointing. I'm about to run out of battery. How much battery do I have left?
You know what? This is gonna sound controversial, but I kind of miss the time when Aaron was alive, because it was at least some kind of, it was action. There was
Yeah,
action.
with some drama at least.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know. 2017 was kind of a crazy ass year.
yeah, it
I
was.
haven't even started by. I
Yeah,
missed all the fun.
and it's just like do stuff, people. It's like, what do you want me to do? And like, well, I need money. Well, the Odin's giving away so much equipment, money, and everything to people. Biohack the Planet a few years ago, I think we gave $10,000 in grants away to people. We're
Yeah.
constantly giving supplies and equipment away to people and stuff like that. And it's just like, maybe I just, sound terrible right now, but it's complaining, but it also just gets frustrating because it's just like, you know,
It's also like, science and biohacking, like, biotechnology is fundamentally about problem solving, right? I mean, it's like a bunch of problem solving. So if so, the first problem you have to solve is funding. Then it's just another problem to solve. So you solve for funding, then you got enough funding to do a little work, then you solve for the many more problems that are going to come after.
but yeah, so it's just, yeah, get involved, do stuff, right? It's like participate, do biohacking. There's so much room to do stuff. There's so many experiments to do,
Yeah.
and it's just like that's what I try to. It's like you could whatever you want, make a name for yourself so fast, get involved so fast. Like nothing really happens, or it's really sketchy. It's like, look at this thing I kind of did, and there's no results or no anything from it, and no protocol. I can't share any of this stuff with you, and it's like, come on, like, what are you going for there, right? And it's just like, yeah, like be real, come out, do stuff. Like, there's no reason to hide or fake or anything like that. Like,
Yeah,
you
that's the
know,
thing. That's the yeah. I never get why people like fake biohacking stuff, because like there's so much actual stuff to be done that like it's so not hard to do something real that nobody's ever done.
And something that can actually be significant
Yeah.
or new. Like, just think about
Or
it.
even just kind of interesting. It doesn't even have to like you don't have to do anything transformative. Just like
I
cool.
like how Joe Robinson just keeps texting us like the sweetest comments, and stuff
I
like
know Joe
that. And we're like,
Robinson.
I know, and they're just like talk about poop and stuff. And they're like, I learned so much from you. And we're like, what is worse, jerking off a dog or eating someone else's poop?
You're the greatest.
I feel so
Thank
bad
you.
for Joe now.
Yeah, thank you, Joe Robinson. Much appreciated. But yeah, I mean, we're coming into 2 hours anyway, so um, hopefully soon we'll have some videos and protocols about, I imagine by next week. So keep a lookout on social media for that stuff. Um, it'll be pretty exciting. Techniques and methods and videos on how to purify your own stem cells and isolate and grow your own stem cells.
Maybe
Uh,
eat them.
maybe,
Not
maybe
me.
I don't
Whatever.
know. It's just like I don't
Boring.
know. But yeah, so thanks everybody for coming. I don't know if you got any
Thank you.
final questions. Hit us up right now. We got like
Yeah,
2 minutes.
yeah, do it quick because we probably all want to pee. Like, I really want to pee, so.
Yeah, I've gone through an entire liter of coffee, so I'm really good.
How's your heart still functioning normally?
I'm almost awake now.
No, he consumes so much caffeine. It's crazy.
All right, we need to do like a study on David. Like,
I can tell you, there's no need to do a study. It's just long-term drinking too much coffee has built up a lot of resistance.
do you sleep?
Yeah, that's great. I can fall asleep in about 4 seconds as soon as my head touches the pillow. I'm a very sleepy person. That's why I need the coffee. But it's annoying because I always wake up at 7:45. So like 15 minutes before my alarm goes off, I'm awake. It's like my mental alarm clock robs me of 15 minutes a night.
All right, doesn't look like so. Everybody out there, just
So, yeah.
do stuff. If you do cool stuff, let us know. We'll share it on our stream.
Yeah,
Heck
and
yeah.
like tag us. Like, even if
Yeah.
it's your first kit, like, come on, it's cool.
Yeah.
I love seeing some, new biohackers. It's
And if you're
honestly one of the best
by
things to see.
us, great. Then start your own rival biohacking group.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we can have like a beef.
Exactly.
Eve could do experiments to see who's like doing cooler.
Who's the
Exactly.
best?
Oh, and we'll
Yeah.
definitely win. I'm confident.
Start with
Yeah.
Biohacker group, because we're down for that. We wanna have some nemesises because you know it's a little boring.
Yeah. Make a much better story when
Yeah, it's getting boring just being the best all the time. Like
It is. It is. It really is. You know, we
it's
need to get
like
knocked off our pedestals. You know.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a motivation,
Let us
to
feel
do
that.
like something
Let us
even
feel that.
better.
Somebody else needs to get books written about them and stuff like that. You know.
Drinking worm water.
Anyway, all right. Thanks everybody for coming. It was a good time. Same time ish next week probably.
Yeah.
See you there. Have fun.
Cheers.